Me, 24M, with my girlfriend, 25F, together for 6 years. She sent me a text message on Labor Day saying she's in love with someone else and been cheating on me. Hello Reddit. I never thought I'd be posting here, yet here we are. I'll provide a little background then get into the story. I'll try to be succinct but no promises, I'm still really pissed off. Warning, this is long. I've tried to be fair and give a lot of backstory leading up to the incident. So my girlfriend, we'll call her Audrey, and I met in high school. We started dating in college, we both came off brutal breakups and we kind of gravitated toward each other in the moment. I love her deeply, but our relationship has been tough for sure. We both dragged a lot of baggage in and our relationship is made of alternating rocky and smooth patches. She got accepted to a fairly prestigious coding school in April. I actually planned on applying to it but received a job offer I couldn't refuse. She had just been let go from her job. I encouraged her to apply instead, and she got in. Thing is, she has a ton of debt from school and unpaid credit cards. So she had no money and her credit score was garbage. Her parents refused to help, so I co-signed the loan with her, about $14,000, and I paid a $2,000 deposit to get her in the class, and about $140 a month as part of the loan agreement. All in, I've spent a little over $2,500 for her. I also let her live in my house for free, and I've been buying her birth control and her other prescriptions and all her food, her shampoo, you name it. Over the summer, she started to get a little weird. They're all red flags now, but at the time she had always had an excuse and nothing seemed particularly amiss. Changed the password on her phone, being aloof, quick to get annoyed, stuff like that. Now the last few months or so she's been driving into the city where her coding school is, about a 20-minute drive from my house, and staying there for days on end. I'll call the town Houston. This isn't in Texas for your information. She kept telling me that gas was getting expensive and she gets so much done while she's down there that it made sense. Some of the people in her class had a house together and she said she would be staying with them. It started to be a problem because she would just go silent for 48 hours at a time, never returning texts or calls. We would fight about it when she finally came home and she would say things like, "I know it's not okay, I'm sorry, I'm terrible. It won't happen again." And then it would happen again. We also live in a state with legal marijuana, and she started smoking weed all the time. Within a few months went from rarely smoking to smoking multiple times a day, wake and bake, smoke before bed, smoke to do homework. I did it with her a bunch, but only because she would ask. I hardly initiated it. She kept getting distant, like I mentioned above. When she was home, she would sleep until 3 p.m., come down, get breakfast, go back to sleep. Wake up, spend an hour getting ready in private, then pack her stuff up and go back to Houston to work on stuff. She also refused to have sex with me. I think we've done it twice since April. She kept saying she wanted to have sex with me, but didn't want to actually have sex with me. A moment of hubris Reddit, but I'm a fairly good-looking guy, I hit the gym a lot, I'm in good shape, I think I'm sexually attractive. Audrey kept telling me that her antidepressants were killing her libido, and I bought another prescription for her to counteract it. It didn't work. She kept telling me, "Well, I wanted to do it yesterday but I was on my period," or "Well, I wanted to but you were already asleep so I didn't." It got to a point that I said I didn't want to hear about her intentions, because they didn't mean anything to me anymore. I think you can tell that we were having issues, but I thought they were temporary and we were working through them. I thought the stress of the class was pushing her to limits we hadn't experienced. But it's been 6 years, we've had way worse issues before, and I thought we were working on it. I wasn't particularly satisfied with our relationship, but I thought maybe if I could hold out, she could get a job after she graduated her school, get some money, chip away at her debt, feel fulfilled professionally, maybe help curb her depression, and I could get my old Audrey back. Depression Audrey has been a real hassle, but I love her. I wanted to make it work. I didn't want to abandon her just because it got hard. About 1.5 years ago, I broke it off with her because she was showing signs of codependency. For those who don't know, it's the person who derives all their personal value from another person. So she only feels pretty if I tell her she's pretty, she needs a person to validate her existence, etc. The manifestation of those feelings are nothing you do is ever good enough, they'll always find something you could have done better and nag at you and make you feel guilty for not doing more for them. They need to spend every waking second with you. Any time you spend away, they'll resent you for it and believe that time is for them. It was driving me crazy, so I broke it off and told her that the depression is getting too severe for me to handle. I needed space and she needed to try and work on her shit on her own. She went to therapy, was put on antidepressants, admitted that she knew what she was doing was wrong, but the depression drove her to badger me and pick fights with me and crave more from me no matter how much I gave. I thought, she's working to fix it, why can't I? So we get back together. It's been a year and a half of sex and cuddling and dates and movie nights and planning our future, couple stuff. This is important because she mentions it later. Now, to Labor Day. She had left Sunday night to go to Houston, like she usually has been. Her last words to me before she left were, "I'm almost done." She knows I've been frustrated with how much time she's spending away. The plan was that she would get a sweet job, we would move to San Francisco, and I could quit my job or work remotely and she could take care of me, because I have quite literally been taking care of her for 6 years. I kept calling myself her future stay-at-home boyfriend. I was obviously planning to get my own job, but I digress. She asked me to walk her to her car, she puckered up for a kiss, then left. The next day is Labor Day. I texted her asking if she had class today, and no reply. I then sent her a Reddit link that was of a hedgehog yawning, because she's always wanted a hedgehog. Then a couple hours later, I get this message, "Hey, I am in love with someone else. I need to keep yours and my relationship strictly business, the loan stuff. If you need to talk about it, we will, in person only please, but not today." It's hard to describe, but my heart imploded when I read that. 6 years, all the ups and downs, all the times she's told me I was the only one who she could ever rely on, and all I get is a text. I called her, she didn't pick up. I texted back, "What the F***ck?" She said, "Or we can talk about it over text." I said, "What are you talking about? Is this serious?" She said, "It is." I said, "Who is it?" She said his name, and after a quick Google search it turns out to be a guy in her class. The class I told her to take, the one I paid for. I then asked, "Have you been sleeping with him?" She said, "Of course, not going to lie, this one hurts." Of course. Like duh, it's the simplest thing in the world. I said, "I don't even know what to say, how could you?" I then told her to come get all her stuff out of my house and that it would be in the yard. She then said, "We broke up over a year and a half ago." How could I what? I said, "This is kind of bullshit to do over a text." She said, "It's not bullshit. I'm coming to get my stuff." Well, Reddit, she never got her stuff. It's sitting in my garage, and she's supposed to stop by after her class today to get it. I called her several times during this, she refused to answer, stopped answering my texts after that. I assume this has been going on since summer. I'm disgusted. I'm angry. I feel played and used for free money and free housing and free food and free prescriptions. I have a text from last Tuesday, 6 days prior, where she said, "I love and I miss you." Last Thursday, 4 days earlier, I have a text where she said, "Hi hi 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 hi." Like she was excited to see me and talk to me. Then Monday, this shit. I sent her an email telling her I wanted off the loan, I wanted my $2,500 back for the class, and to get her stuff out. She said she was coming today to get her stuff, she's working on the loan and she'll pay me back as soon as she can. Reddit, I don't know what to do. I'm angry. I'm mourning the loss of my relationship. I came to a realization that the person I knew and fell in love with is gone. She was replaced by this monster. She saw an opportunity at a better life, and she took it. She'll get a new life with a new boyfriend with a sweet job and move to a beautiful place, and it was all courtesy of my bank account. My friends have been super supportive during this, telling me that they don't even know who this person is that could do this stuff, that they thought she was being really weird the last time they've seen her. She's a completely different person now. I'm sorry if this was a little rambling. My ultimate question is, am I missing something? Am I crazy? My friends are in shock about how messed up this is. They've asked their friends who don't know either of us, they think it's unbelievable. Yet it's happening to me, right now. Is there a side of this I can't see because I'm too close? Her texts are so nonchalant, invalidating and negating the last year and half, pretending like it didn't happen, like we weren't together. She was living at my house, we slept in the same bed. Of course she's sleeping with him, like what else would I expect? That I don't deserve a face-to-face conversation about any of this, or even a phone call? Edit. Also, I know this isn't /r/personal finance, but some advice on my options with the loan and money stuff is always welcome. Edit. Hi all. Things got crazy, some weird shit happened. I'm so drained, and I'm going to post an update tomorrow. I did read all the things you guys posted, some made me laugh, some made me sad. I'll just say the power of Reddit is immense. The support is awesome, the suggestions were on point. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Edit. So apparently you're only allowed to have one post on the front page, so I'll have to wait until this drops off before I can post my update, to avoid removal. TLDR, GF of 6 years cheated on me and broke up with me over text, refuses to talk to me about it or answer my questions. I'm co-signed on a loan and dropped $2,500 to get her in a class, where she met the dude she cheated on me with. Update. Hey everyone. First off, I want to say thank you for all the support. The outpouring of emotions and suggestions was enormously beneficial to me. I laughed, I cried, I cringed. I mainly wrote my post to vent. I've always enjoyed writing, and getting everything on paper helped wrap my mind around things. I did not expect it to get nearly the attention it did. Some crazy stuff happened. I spent a long time thinking about how to frame this post. As with most things in life, the situation is not black and white. A lot of shit from our past that I thought we had moved on from got dredged up from the deep. It will be impossible to frame the update without background. I'll give the update of what happened, then try and provide some context after for those who care. So, to the update. Turns out my original post made its way to the guy she's been seeing. I will call him Colin. I got a direct message saying this is Colin and I instantly knew it was him, as I didn't even use a fake name in my original. He said a friend of his saw the post and recognized some of the text messages from Colin was telling him about it. Colin said he read my post and if we wanted to talk, we can. So I gave him my number, and he called me. Audrey had been lying to Colin this whole time about her current relationship with me. He figured out she had been lying to him from my post. I clarified that she was definitely in a relationship with me, she lived with me, she propositioned me for a blowjob 2 weeks ago, etc. Audrey told Colin I was an ex, we had broken up a year and a half ago and we were still just friendly. Every time she was at my house, she told him she was at her mom's house. She had told me she was staying with a female friend in her class whenever she was in fake Houston. It was weird. I told him I wasn't angry at him, even if he had known all about me and Audrey. It's not his job to uphold the sanctity of our relationship, it's Audrey's. He knew nothing about me though. The reason the text messages were so confusing is that he looked through her phone on Labor Day and saw messages from me that were a little too cutesy to be just a friend. Obviously, because as he now knows, I was more than just a friend. So from his point of view, I'm this ex-boyfriend who's getting a little too friendly with his girlfriend, and he made her send me those messages. That's why they made no damn sense. He was staring over her shoulder threatening to break up with her if she didn't do it. So the only reason she did break up with me at all, and did it over text, was because he made her. Those texts to an ex-boyfriend of 18 months make total sense, but from my point of view of a current BF, they were straight crazy. He mentioned that she was sitting by front door, the text typed up, and hesitating with her thumb over the send button for much longer than he would have liked. So that was sweet of her, I guess. The shitty thing is that I found out they've been sleeping together since May, which is less than a month after the class started. I can't tell you how much of a blow that was, to know that she was lying and manipulating me and this other guy all summer. Reddit, I can't convey how angry I am. To know that she was having sex with this guy for days on end, and would come home and lie to me that her libido was gone because of her antidepressants and showed me no love, no sexual contact. But she got hers in fake Houston. All the time she ever told me that she would never cheat on anyone because she knew how that felt and she would never want to put someone through that. How if there was ever another person, she would tell me before anything happened so I wouldn't have to be cheated on. The hypocrisy crushes my soul. She just made me feel bad all the time. It's so obvious when I look back. I like to say things in funny accents and make pervy jokes and say dumb dad jokes, and she would legitimately snap at me. Stop it, I'm annoying her, cut it out, shut up. She spent months making me feel bad just being myself, then goes off and cheats on me, consistently, repeatedly, with the same guy. Falls in love with him. She spent months living in my house, eating my food, going to school on my dime, making me wait hand and foot on her, requesting food, asking that I take her out to dinner, get angry if I didn't want to cuddle because it hurts my shoulder, texted me she missed me, texted me she loved me, told me she would be done with school soon and we could start a new life together in San Francisco. She would get a sweet coding job and take care of me and our life would be amazing, and then she would drive off to fake Houston and have sex with Colin. For 5 months she did this to me. Turns out, she was telling Colin about their fantastic future in San Francisco together too. Colin told me that Audrey had mentioned she was going to her mom's house to pick up some stuff. In my original post I mentioned she was coming yesterday to pick her stuff up from my house. He said he would like to come over with her so we could all sit down and talk together. My buddy came over just to be a third-party witness to everything. They showed up together, and she got out of the car. It was obvious she had been crying. She looked really upset. He came up and we shook hands. As per some advice I got, I wrote a crude contract that just said I'm Audrey, I owe OP $2,500 and I take full responsibility for the $16,000 left in the loan, and made her sign it. Colin and I sat there and talked as she moved all her stuff into her car. It was awkward, for sure, but Reddit, I think he's a cool guy, and just collateral damage in this whole thing. We kind of exchanged notes about things we had noticed, what she was saying to both us, where she told us she was at when she wasn't with us, things like that. Again, super awkward, she's silently moving her stuff, and she had a lot of stuff, she effing lived here, and we're just kind of talking shit about her. We then go inside, I ask for my key back, and I ask if this was the first time she's cheated on me like this and if there's been anyone else. She said Colin was the only one. I asked what exactly her plan was for all of this, and she said she didn't have one, she was just winging it. She didn't talk much after that, and Colin didn't talk much either. I kind of vented at her. It was probably a million times worse because Colin was there than if I only saw her by myself. She eventually told me that she resented me for stuff I did in the past, and that she could never really get over it. She was so afraid that she couldn't make anything of herself without my support that she couldn't leave me. So I said, "To be clear, you're telling me that for the last year and a half, you've just been using me for my money?" She said, "Yes." The only other thing of value she said was that she was sorry that this happened. She knew what she was doing was wrong, but she did it anyway. She said she was sorry she wasn't strong enough to tell me she didn't actually want to be with me sooner. She basically sat there silent throughout the rest of it, saying a couple things here and there. I think it was a deer in the headlights thing, she got caught and had no idea what to do or say. She was completely unprepared for this moment. For those with the justice boners, here are a couple of my one-liners. I almost had a brain aneurysm on Monday when I found this out. You have no idea what this did to me. I was your rock for years. I was the only one who stood by your side when your friends abandoned you, when your parents didn't support you, and now you just threw me away. You're the one who did this bad thing, and you'll have to live with this the rest of your life. You went from 2 boyfriends to 0 in 2 days. You got to sleep in this guy's bed the last 2 days, together. I slept here, all alone. She kept sticking to this story that we've been broken up for a year and a half. I told her that was children's logic. She broke up with me a year and a half ago to work on some of her issues, but we got back together in a couple weeks. It was always just a break. At the time, I asked her that because she broke it off with me, she should ask me to be her BF. I only realized recently that she technically never did that, and I think she's hiding behind this loophole like a technicality. I told her this isn't a court of law, there were no loopholes. She doesn't get to sleep in my bed with me for 18 months and pretend we're not a couple when it suddenly becomes convenient for her. Like I said, she said it 2 or 3 times that we have been broken up for a year and a half, and that I'm not always supportive, etc. I told her that if she tried to fuck me on the money, I would sue her. She got snotty and said she wouldn't do that. I noticed her codependence seemed to have been getting better during the summer. I thought maybe school had given her purpose, drive. That maybe she was coming out of this depression thing all these years. I now realize that the reason her codependence seemed to get better was that she had transferred some of it to Colin. I feel really bad for Colin. When he spoke, it was to point out various times he noticed her sketchy behavior. He also noticed her change the passcode on her phone. He's a less trusting person though, and explained how he wanted to know why she did that. He noticed that Audrey was ignoring him when she was with me, etc. He mentioned how he's been in a situation similar to this before, how he seems to get totally screwed over by people and he has trust issues. He really had no idea what was going on and she had the wool pulled over his eyes too. He is an innocent bystander in all this. He also broke it off with her. I want to take a moment and say that a piece of me loves Audrey. And always will. A piece of me hates her now too, but the piece of me that loves her told her that she is sick. I said that she needed help, because someone who thinks this is okay is really sick in the head, and she needed to go to therapy. I made her go to therapy about a year ago, because her codependence was getting really bad, and that's when she was put on antidepressants. She stopped going right around when she got into the class. She said that she knew this wasn't okay. I simply replied that she did it, therefore a little piece of did think it was okay. Colin also agreed that she needed to see somebody professionally. Codependence is a serious effing illness. She knows what she did was wrong. I know she did, I could see it in her eyes. She's a good person, Reddit, but this illness drives her to do things she objectively knows are crazy, and she can't help it. She's not innocent, and this is all fucked up and I'm not defending her in any way. Deep inside, I know there's a good person just clawing to get out, and I truly hope that with medicine and therapy and time, Audrey can get better and have a beautiful life. But it will be a life without me in it. Now, you'll notice I wrote above her reasoning was she didn't want to be with me because she was resentful. First, I believe her codependence made her be with me, even though she didn't actually want to be. She is too afraid of being alone, and she's been looking for a way out for 18 months. Colin was the first opportunity that came by, and she grabbed it. This relationship has been hard on me, and if she had found true love and wanted to leave me, I could handle that. The cheating, the lying, the manipulation, and the money makes this unforgivable. Second, in a gesture of good faith and honesty, I'll explain why she's resentful of me. Reddit, I'm not a bad person, but I did some bad things. When Audrey and I got together 6 years ago, I was in a really messed up place from my previous ex, and I didn't treat her well. I had a history of infidelity, and it went on for a while. It was only a few instances, nothing emotional, just drunk at a party stuff. I'm not trying to trivialize it, but it was never any kind of extended affair. I effing hate that I did those things. I hate myself a lot still because of it. I told her about it every single time, and she would forgive me and take me back. 4 years ago was the last time it happened, and that was when I realized what a piece of shit I was, and that I didn't want to be that kind of person. So for 4 years, I have tried to make up for what I did. Maybe I deserved this after all, putting that sweet girl I knew back then through that shit. Maybe I caused these issues to surface, exacerbated. I'm no saint, but if the last 4 years count for anything, I still didn't deserve this. When we decided to make this thing work 4 years ago, I asked very pointedly that if this was going to work, she would have to forgive me. If she didn't think she could truly forgive me, then we would be wasting our time. She said she did. But apparently she was lying. That was her reasoning behind being able to do all this. Because of the shitty stuff that happened in the beginning. She could never forgive me, but she needed me, and that's why she stuck around. Like I said, maybe this is my karma, and maybe I had this coming for a long time. I just know that either way, my world erupted the last couple days. I thought that stuff was in the past, that we had moved on from those things. That's why I didn't mention them in my first post. I truly didn't think they were what was driving all of this. Maybe that's naive of me. But 4 years is a long time. I've been nothing but caring and supportive and the best damn boyfriend I could be. I'm a different man, and 4 days ago I thought Audrey was the girl I was going to marry, and god damn it, we had a hard beginning, but I was going to fix it. I was going to fix her. She was going to get better, because I got better, and so could she. I guess I was wrong. I'm starting therapy tomorrow, and I'm minimizing contact with Audrey to just loan stuff. Not a happy ending, but an ending nonetheless. TLDR, guy saw my Reddit post, Audrey was lying to him. He thought I was an ex, made her send those texts. She was using me for my money.